Good afternoon, and welcome to WATD's Powerful Women Revealed, created and hosted by Nicole Perry. You're invited to enjoy an ongoing series of personal and educational discussions with a variety of women that want to educate, inspire, and bring awareness to the community. These women all have a powerful mission and appreciate the opportunity to share their stories, milestones, and successes with you. Here's your host, Nicole Perry.
Good afternoon and welcome to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and I am so grateful to be here today. My voice is still sort of recovering a little bit. I've been sick, I've been out of town, a few things have been going on, but I want to welcome you to the show today, and my guest is an energy healing practitioner who uses a variety of modalities, including EFT, which is also known as Emotional Freedom Technique. Her mission is to help people and pets get to the root cause of emotional pain and ailments. Through the magic of technology, she is able to serve clients all over the world and has been practicing for over 7 years. Elda Dorothy, welcome back to the show.
Well, hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being here again, and thank you for returning. And hopefully there he goes with the music. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. He's new in the studio today. So in our first show, it was a great show. What day was that on? That was in May 23rd. So please, if you're listening and you enjoy this conversation today, go back and listen to the May interview I had with Elda. You are a beautiful guest, and it was such a really great show. You're all about healing modalities and Reiki and EFT and all kinds of different things. So today we're going to dive into a little bit of a different type of client. So you do work with people and families and children, and you also work with pets.
Yes, it's been quite a journey with the pets. It's eye-opening for a lot of pet owners to realize that their pets do have emotions. And how I come in is I help the pet clear the emotions that they're experiencing so that they can stop reacting to things. Either people usually hire me for either behavioral issues, if they're having behavioral issues with their pet, or physical pain, or even grief, losing a sibling, losing a pet sibling. So it's
I think
an honor for me.
I think it's fascinating because on the one hand, you don't actually have to believe in EFT in order for it to work. So I think that that's fascinating because it's in alignment with the NLP, right? The how do you say it? Linguistic?
Well, yeah, the neuro-linguistic programming. This one's a little bit different. However, they're both having to do with energy.
Yes.
So whenever you're dealing with
And
energy,
the brain, right? Because
Correct.
you're tapping to sort of wake up, right? To wake up that thought or that or whatever it is. I just think it's fascinating that you don't have to believe in it and it still works. And and then to take that to the level of an animal, tell me a little bit more. What do people not understand? What? How do people get stuck? How is it possible?
You mean with a pet?
Yeah.
Or with a human? Okay. With the pet, I think it's because I'm not actually with the pet. And that's usually the hardest thing for people to understand is because I serve pets, whether I'm in Minneapolis area. I've had pet clients in the Seattle area, in the San Diego area, in the Maryland area, all over. So I think that's the hardest thing usually for people to understand because I'm not physically with the pet, but with energy, energy is everything. We're all made of energy, and there's no time or dimension with that. So we're able to serve wherever. When I connect with the pet through looking through a picture of them. You know how the saying, the eyes are the window to the soul. So I look through their eyes and I connect with them that way. And I'm the surrogate, so I feel their pain. That's my gift. I feel their pain. So if they're angry, if I have a kitty that's angry about something or a dog that's angry about something, when I'm tapping on myself, I'm like pounding on my head because I'm feeling their anger. Or if they're sad, I feel their sadness and I cry. So that's what I think.
And it's not even on Zoom. Like you are capable of, you were doing Zoom years before, and you are capable of doing, working with clients and people and pets over Zoom, correct? Can you work with a pet over Zoom?
Well, I see my human clients I see over Zoom.
Yes.
Pets I don't see over Zoom. I see
all
them.
You need is the picture.
Right. And what I try to do is I do it either early in the morning when they're asleep or late at night when they're asleep. There's some circumstances where, a pet, maybe I had one pet that just came back from surgery. So I did it, early in the morning, and then I did it in the afternoon, and then I did it at night, really trying to get the healing there going. But usually I try to do it when they're sleeping, either early in the morning or late at night.
I can't even tell you how much I think this is fascinating. Like I've always kind of felt like, what was that when I was growing up as a child? The guy who talked to animals. Oh, what was the name? I'm blanking on it. Anyway, I'm singing the song in my head, the Talking to Animals song. But I've always had this connection with animals. So I suppose that some of us have this capability of utilizing the energy in us. And, we just don't practice it, but you practice it. So now what are you grateful for over these last 20 plus months that we've all been experiencing a freaking pandemic? What have you come to be really, truly grateful for?
I'm really grateful for how, because my business has been on Zoom since I started it in 2014. Yeah. So I'm grateful for the fact, well, actually I started on Skype, and then I think 1 or 2 years later, I switched over to Zoom. I'm grateful for the fact that more people are open to meeting over Zoom. And this has allowed me to join different networking groups that I couldn't have joined before because of Zoom. I've also developed a lot of friendships with people that I probably wouldn't have met.
Long distance, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm really grateful for, that people are more open to Zoom. Because when I used to tell people about it, there were people like, oh, yeah, I've heard about it, but they weren't really open to it. And because people didn't really have a choice, it really opened it up for me to
connect with some of those people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that were. So I was probably one of those people. Like I had Zoom, I was using it like sparse, like hardly using it at all. But I want to ask you, what is, obviously when you're working with human clients, they can verbalize how they feel about something, and you can talk it out with each other. Is it, dare I say, easier to work on a pet that cannot communicate?
What it is it's actually, I don't want to say harder. It's different, because I'm feeling their pain. So if they're, for example, I was working with a kitty once, and I felt like somebody was stabbing my back, and it was, I feel their pain. Or I worked with a dog once where I felt like my heart was in a vice, I feel their pain. So in that way, it's harder on me because I experience their pain. And also I receive some thoughts from them when I'm doing the EFT, and when I'm doing the Reiki, I experience the pain in my body. I don't always know what that means. Actually, most of the time, I don't know what it means. So I email the client, the pet owner, and I'll say, "Hey, this is what I experienced," and then they will tell me. They're like, "Oh," and then I'll say, "This usually has a meaning," because the pain in our body usually has an emotional meaning, but I don't know the story. So then they'll say, "Oh, okay, this it makes sense to them." So that's how. very different.
Yeah, and very interesting. Okay, so just before we go to break, I just want to mention the ideal client that you want to work with are people that are obviously open mind to this alternative healing or alternative energy healing, and then also trust that you have their best interest at heart. Like really, like it is about, there's a lot of trust there, but you got to open up that door in order to build that trust. Right? Get the conversation started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. And I always tell people I don't ever try to talk anyone into working with me because I work with emotions. So I really want them to trust me and know that I have their best interest at heart.
Yeah. So it's ideal if they just connect with you, meet with you, and then they will know. And it's yeah, exactly. All right. Mm-hmm. So you can find Elda Dorothy at compassionatetruth.com. I hope you stay with us. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed right here on 95.9 WATD.
A grapefruit diet is not realistic. A love diet is personal. For over 2.5 years, Nicole Perry has been writing her debut book, I Am on a Love Diet, and it's officially available on Amazon right now. Nicole's debut book, I Am on a Love Diet, is Nicole's story of how she focused on feeding herself love for 365 days and shares her very candid, raw, and personal thoughts about the dieting industry. Nicole's book is nonfiction, but reads like a beach novel. Get your copy today by visiting ilovemydiet.com.
And you're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and my guest is Elda Dorothy, and we're having a teeny tiny technical issues. We couldn't get the music to play, but that's okay. In this second segment, again, you can go to compassionatetruth.com for more information. In this second segment, I really want to talk about get a little bit deeper into these behavioral issues. So, and triggers. And including pain and stress and loss and grief. And so let's talk about, do you have like a couple of stories you can share about a couple of these different things so that people can kind of connect and understand what you mean?
Sure. One that I have so many stories, but one that I was thinking of sharing is that I had a dog that these owners had him for 7 years. They moved into a brand new house. When they moved into the new house, he started ripping apart the molding, or what do you call that? The frame?
The frame of the doors? Wow.
Right.
Chewing it right off.
Right. And the first one he did, they thought, it must be because it's the pantry. That's where they keep the treats. So they decided to put all the treats in plastic containers that were sealed. And then they left the door open, right? Well, then they found he tore apart the door frame of the front, I think it was the front door. And then finally they decided to install a camera to see what was going on, because he would do this when they left for work. Right?
Okay, so interesting. I know. Right. Isn't it interesting what they'll do when no one's around?
Right. So, but they were surprised because they'd had him for 7 years, and he was a great dog, right? And never had any issues. And here they, brand new house that they had built for them with a big yard, and they were excited.
Yeah. So not even pre-owned.
No. So then when they installed the camera, they noticed that as soon as they left for work, he would go running to the window and just be very anxious about them leaving. And he actually tore the next door, the door frame around the garage that leads to the garage. So here they had 3 door frames that he had taken apart, and she had come to me. She was introduced to me about this and said, they had tried all these. Usually I'm the last resort. She's like, I've tried the CBD oil, I've tried medication, I've tried, all these things. She was naming everything that she had tried. And she's like, I'm desperate. I'm willing to try this. And I'm like, okay. When working with him, there was a lot of emotion, a lot of tears on my part, a lot of anxiety I was feeling. Yeah. And what it was, but I remember, I don't know that what came to me was, I said, he's having anxiety about being abandoned. and the change, and something about change. And so I release all the emotions around it, the anxiety, the sadness, all the different things, and relayed that to her. Well, come to find out, he was a rescue. And she said,
I was going to ask you that because there's history. Obviously, there's some history there. Yeah.
And she said the history was that the people that found him, he had been abandoned on open land. Like, I'm not sure. I think it was like a reservation or something. He was found like abandoned.
Yeah.
And so I'd let her know. I said, what my intuition tells me is that those people moved homes. So he watched the whole moving of it.
Oh,
and
so there's the trigger. So there's the trigger.
Right?
Oh,
That's why he was good for those 7 years. The trigger was the recent happening.
The move.
The move.
Interesting.
And after that, they kept the camera on, and he was calm as a cucumber.
Interesting. And most animals are usually so like in the present moment. Like they're so present, But it's interesting that a trigger can happen. I know it's true. I get it because I had a dog that I rescued, and she was abused, and she was crated and abandoned in a crate. Yeah, for like several hours, like the whole day or something crazy or whatever. And so when we adopted my dog, we tried to put her in we'd never crated before. So we didn't even, we knew she had a problem, and we were like, well, don't worry. We've never crated, so we won't do that. And so we tried to put her in like a little tiny laundry room when we left. And when we came back, she had destroyed everything in the room. And it was because, they say small areas, like dogs like that. They like the cave. They like the small area. But for her, it triggered. And she freaked out that she was being in this tiny little space. So, over the years, she started going in the other dogs' crates because we got other dogs since then. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. Like that is a major trigger.
Well, and they have the emotions that haven't been dealt with.
Yeah.
And that's why the trigger brings it up.
Oh my God, that's so sad. That is just,
I worked with another
breaks
dog
my heart.
When you said about being abused, I worked with another dog that he, the owner couldn't sweep. Every time she went to try to sweep, he
okay, I don't mean to laugh, but that's kind of cute almost. But he got afraid.
Well, they come to find out he was beat by his previous owner with the broom.
Oh.
So after I worked with him and this dog was in Canada. See, so, that's why I say it doesn't matter where they are.
It doesn't matter where they are, yeah. Oh, that is so sad.
After I worked with him, she sent me a video of her sweeping, and he's sitting right there. She's like, oh my goodness. She's like, look, it was just the cutest thing.
And that's the amazing part, that whether you're a human or a pet, you don't, like, obviously if you're a pet, you don't even know this is happening. You don't know you're being treated per se, right? You don't know there's a treatment happening across the world or whatever.
Well, they can feel something though, because every now and then I'll have an owner email me, say something. For example, I had one once. I'd sent her an email, and then the next morning, telling her what I experienced. And next morning, she said, "By the way, were you working on him at like maybe 11:30 at night?" And I was like, "Yes. Why?" And she's like, "Because he was sleeping and I heard him go grr, grr." And she's like, "I thought he wanted a treat or wanted some water. I tried to give him some and nothing. And then he just went back to sleep." And it was just a soft little, and she's like, "I was wondering if you were working on him." So they do feel something. They do. It's just,
that is so sweet. You're making me cry. I get tears in my eyes. I don't have a tissue. All right. Well, we are going to go to a quick break. I hope you stay with us. My guest is Elda Dorothy. You can go to compassionatetruth.com to connect with Elda. She is the most caring, sincere, compassionate person I have ever met in my life. You can also find her on the directory at powerfulwomenrise.com. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed, the place to go and the place to be, right here on 95.9 WATD.
Are you getting the support you need to move your business forward? The perfect group for you might just be Powerful Women Rise. We are a motivational mastermind for women who are serious about transforming their businesses and missions. At each meeting, we educate ourselves on topics relevant to the entrepreneur today. And we gain incredible support from a team of professionals with diverse experiences and wisdom. So how do you want to be supported over the next 12 months? Visit powerfulwomenrise.com to register or get started today. You know, my book is sprinkled with a few thoughts around anxiety and depression, and it's because food plays a huge part in our mental health. Now that we are emerging from COVID-19 and resuming our work lives as best we can, I decided to roll out a new campaign called Grow to Give to support the Plymouth County Suicide Prevention Coalition. Invest in yourself, your business, and your community at Powerful Women Rise as we grow to give together 10% of all membership dues to the Plymouth County Suicide Prevention Coalition. Claim your business in one of our teams today by visiting powerfulwomenrise.com and click Get Started.
And we are back. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. What an amazing song. Get Down by, where's my little notes here? Gilbert O'Sullivan featuring Elton John. I found such a great version of it with Elton John. Oh my God, Elton John was so cute with his glasses in that little video. But I just wanted to share that I was asking the universe for a pet song. I just wanted some kind of song about pets. I didn't want to Google it. I'm just like, send it to me. And I turned on WATD last Friday and this song was on the air. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So anyway, so I do get a lot of my music from listening to this exact radio station, just letting you know. So in this next segment, we're going to talk about the root cause a little bit more. And I know there's some repetition here. We're saying some things, but you know, sometimes you can hear it in different ways when we're talking about the triggers and the issues and getting to the root cause. I know you can probably create EFT scripts for humans. Is that something as part of what you do?
It is part of what I do as part of in between the sessions.
Because some people might not know what to say.
Well, the thing is, I tell them that our life is like an onion.
Yeah.
You know, so we during one session, we'll peel one layer of the onion off and they'll see a complete change, you know, a reaction where they're not reacting to a certain thing. However, underneath there's something, another layer. So then I'll give homework and I'll say, okay, if you're open to it, I invite you to journal on this thing that came up. And I explain to them exactly how I like them to journal. There's a specific way. And then I have them send it to me. And then I write up a script using their words. So that way it's a personalized script.
Yes.
Not a generic script. It's using their words. And then in that script, I'll say, okay, tap on this part of your face and say this phrase, you know, 2 times, tap on this part of your face, say this phrase, and I'm using their words. So it's like they're having another session with me, but it's through email. And the best reason that I do this for is because I want to teach the person how to be able to continue this work on their own.
Yes.
So that they can, you know, life happens, other things come up.
Yes.
So that way it's a tool in their toolbox for the future.
Yeah, that they can use. Now, do you do some kind of a script when you're doing the tapping on yourself, when you're channeling that energy for the pet? do you have a type of script once you kind of unleash what it is that's going on?
That's a very good question. What I do is, for each round, I receive a thought. So like
a download, like a hit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like, so, I say that I'm not a pet communicator because I don't like to have a conversation with pets like some people do. However, some people say I am a pet communicator because I receive a thought.
I love this, pet communicator.
So I'll give you an example. I had a doggie in California that was lunging out at other dogs on walks. And this had been going on for a while, but when she met me, she was just like, I'm willing to try this. And during the sessions, what I told her, what came up was, I said, so for example, the first round, the thought, I think was, I'm scared. Mm-hmm. And I that's the reason I lash out or jump at other dogs on walks, is because I'm scared. And
attack first before I get attacked myself. Yeah.
Right. I need to be strong. Right. And then later, the thought came that they're going to get me. And so I said she was bullied. This dog, your dog was bullied.
Oh, so there's another trigger. So these are triggers.
Exactly. And hers wasn't a rescue dog. So she was like, so it wasn't like something happened before.
Yeah.
It happened in her time that she had her, and she'd had her for a few years when I had worked with her. Mm-hmm. So I told her, I said, she'd been bullied. There was some time that she was bullied, and that's why she thinks that now she needs to act strong. Well, you know what? The owner, she emailed me back and said, oh yeah, I remember when she was a puppy. I took her to puppy training, and there was another dog there that every week would intimidate her so much that she'd be in a puddle of pee. Oh. She was so scared.
Yeah, so that dog training, because it's a group thing. You're with other animals. So many things can happen.
And she was tiny. She's not a tiny dog now, but at the time she was small. So she was intimidated by this other dog. So once I released all the emotions about being bullied, she let me know. Well, now when they go on their walks, she just looks at the other dogs. And keeps walking, because she had sent me a video in the beginning of the dog lunging, with the leash.
You have so many great testimonials, so many organic testimonials and organic stories. Is it uncommon or common for a pet to resort back to like old ways? Do they need to have a couple more sessions to sort of reprogram their energy?
Well, what it is, I work with them with behavioral issues. It's 6 days. So I'm working 6 days with them.
Okay.
1 day EFT, 1 day Reiki, then the next day EFT, then Reiki. So in that time, we're getting the different layers. Now, if something were to come up, it would be a different aspect, just like with humans. So if they're, if something comes up, it's not fear about that situation anymore. Mm-hmm. If we haven't gotten to all of it, and that's why we go through the different layers.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the layers.
Layers of it, because then you're getting all of it. And then once you get to the root cause, it doesn't come back. As you, I think we may have talked about this before, but I was deathly afraid of dogs, where I couldn't be around dogs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my God. I completely forgot about that.
I had a friend that would lock her, when I would visit her, she'd have to lock her dog in the basement because I was deathly afraid of dogs.
I completely forgot about that. I think we talked about that on the last show.
Yeah. And now I have a side business where I pet sit, and the dogs sleep in bed with me.
Oh, my God.
So I don't have to keep tapping on it because we got to the childhood root cause, which didn't have anything to do with dogs at all. It was about something completely different. So once we get to the root cause, it's cleared, unless it's like a different aspect of it.
So 6 days is a general beginning or a general time frame?
For the pets, for behavioral issues, usually 6 sessions will do it. I've had a few instances where I've had a couple times had to do it again because it was so deep, and they noticed a change, but it wasn't as much of a change as they would like. So then we did it 6 more, another week.
And it's also so interesting because, they are animals, but they are spiritual beings as well. So there's just so many fascinating layers to this of what you do. We have one more segment left. I hope you stay with us. I want to mention that I am doing a book talk here at the Plymouth Local Public Library in Plymouth on December 11th. So you can go to ilovemydiet.com. You can even go to powerfulwomenrise.com, and the event should be listed there with details. You can reach Elda at compassionatetruth.com. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. You're listening to Powerful Women Rise, the place to go and the place to be, right here on 95.9 WATD.
Everyone has a story, and Herself 360 is the place to share that story. Herself 360 is an online media magazine platform, a supportive place for women everywhere to connect through stories. It's a community of women with shared experiences to encompass, engage, and support one another at different places in their lives. They always welcome women to engage within their membership and participate within their non-traditional advertising. Memberships start at $25 and include monthly ads in the magazine from member events. Go to herself360.com to find out more.
On the edge of heaven and hell is a battle that I cannot fight. I'm a fool.
And we are back. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. What an amazing song by Adele. That's a brand new song called Oh My God, I Can't Believe It. That's like my favorite song right now. I'm going to play it like 100 times a day right now. I just love it so much. So I want to talk and touch, but you have a story you're going to share with us. But before we do that, I want to touch on the ideal client for you to work with. And it's somebody that appreciates you and all of this work that you're doing behind the scenes. So that is important to share. Somebody that's also heart-centered. And let's see here, somebody that is eager to be open to this alternative energy healing modality service, because it is a service that you provide. Right. So the story that you're going to share is a healing story. So a surgery healing story. So take it away. What is this? Who is this pet?
I had someone reach out to me because her dog had surgery, and the 2 days after the surgery, she wasn't getting any sleep. She said, I feel like I have a new puppy, because the dog kept pacing back and forth, so wasn't sleeping.
There you go, more anxiety, like more
exactly.
Anxious.
So she hired me, asking, if I could help. And I immediately, I said, I can squeeze in at this time and at this time and at this time, because it was an emergency situation. And with that, with something like that, I do 3 sessions instead of 6. Mm-hmm. And usually I do it in 3 days, but hers I did, I think, like all in 1 day or a day and a half. And
because it's sort of like an emergency almost. Is this what you're getting at? It's sort of like a pressing thing.
Exactly. So I did the 3 sessions, I believe, all in that day. And the next day she sent me an email and said, I was able to sleep through the whole night because her dog had slept through the whole night. And also she said, I looked at where the incision was, and she said, it looks like it's almost healed. She was like, it's like a miracle. She was like, it's like healing so quickly.
Oh no, I just lost her off of my Zoom. We just lost her. Can you call Elda on the phone number at the top and get her on the line? Oh, I can't believe we just had that happen. Hang on to your seats, everyone. Yep. Chris is getting Elda back on the line. We have our emergency backup system in place to contact our guest via the phone. the old-fashioned cell phone. All right, so hold on to your seats, listeners. Chris is getting her back on the line.
Hello there.
You're there. Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Boy, you are really getting a huge lesson today in the studio. This is his first day, and everything that could possibly have gone wrong has gone wrong. So I'm so glad to have you back on the line. I am so sorry. My laptop completely shut off in the middle of this. That's crazy.
Oh, that's okay.
That's crazy. So let's go ahead and wrap up your story. You were saying that she was actually finally able to sleep through the night, and the dog's wound was healing, or healing progressively.
Yes, she noticed immediately. Actually, after the first session, she noticed that her dog had stopped pacing so much. So even after the first session, she noticed it. But then after I did the 3, as I said, within a few hours of each other, she noticed significant change, and they were both able to get rest, and the little doggy was able to heal very well.
Well, there you go.
She said she took her to the vet, and the vet said that the healing happened much quicker than they had
anticipated. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Amazing story. You are amazing. I just want to point out to the listeners that, a lot of my guests, such as yourself, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of women don't like to self-promote. And, there is an element of marketing, whatever your business is, you're in sales or you're in marketing. And this is my job. I am here to help you market yourself and share all of the greatness about you and your business and the great things that you're doing for your clients. So thank you so much for being here again today.
Well, I appreciate you and, getting... You're exactly right. You're the first and only podcast or live radio show or podcast or whatever that I've ever done. So you're right. I'm not very well. Do very well at the self marketing.
Well, guess what?
It's very easy.
Guess what?
You're so easy to talk to.
If this is your first, you got big shoes to fill. Anybody else that you go to after this, if I do say so myself. All right. So we are out of time. I want to leave you with a final quote. Again, you can go to compassionatetruth.com or powerfulwomenrise.com to the directory. But this quote is just an amazing quote by Arthur Schopenhauer. I hope I said that right. All truth goes through 3 steps. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And finally, it is accepted as self-evident. And I think that totally captures what you do with EFT and Reiki for sure. I want to thank you so much, Elda, again for being here. I want to thank you for listening and joining me to help end systemic racism by educating ourselves, shifting the language inside our homes, and caring for every fellow human being that walks this earth. I hope you will tune in next Sunday after the news at noon. Until then, I'm your host, Nicole Perry. Have a great week, and remember, knowledge is power, and it's what you do with that knowledge that matters.